Hey, Walking Dead fans, welcome back to the channel. I posted a Q&A, post any kind of question you want, and I would answer it, and I'm going to answer it in the video here for the people that have answered so far. And I will do another call out for a Q&A in the future, and we'll do another video soon. All right, let's jump right in. Topps Daily Production says, because Russia has such cold temperatures, would Russia even be affected? As in, could the virus survive in Russia? And the virus would be there according to Walking Dead physics and such. But would walkers actually be able to walk around once someone reanimated? In my opinion, if you could set a glass of water outside and it froze solid, walkers would have a hard time getting around. If they got around at all, it would be very slow, and I don't think at all, because we have seen it in The Walking Dead. Like, a pond was froze over, they walked across the pond. So I think people would die and reanimate in Russia. It's just, I don't think the walkers would be able to walk per se. And Vanessa, she asked, 2 years ago, fans were speculating that Michonne was leaving the show. Fan sites said that Michonne, Daryl, and Carol renewed contracts for another few years. Now that we know Michonne didn't, do you think Michonne left to really pursue other projects, or do you think it was about her money? She went on to talk about Maggie, how she wanted more money and ended up leaving the show. That is true. And her show didn't do so well that she went out to do, and so now she's coming back. Yes, that's true. Then the question, and when Michonne and Rick realized that projects outside the Walking Dead universe might flop, do you think they'll come back to the main show, The Walking Dead? And she's asking that in reference to, like, Maggie. So Lauren Cohen wanted more money. She left the show, and the TV show she went into flopped, so now she's back. Will that happen to Michonne and Rick? So first of all, the first question about Michonne leaving, yes, she's a playwright. She's a pretty talented actor, writer. She's a really talented person. So I don't think it was about the money. If anything, it was she wants to do other things. She's talented. She's got so many doors that have opened up, and I don't think it's about the money as much as far as to stay. Like, could they offer her enough to stay? It's just she's going to make just as much going out and doing other things she wants to do. So I understand, as an actor, as a person, as a creative person, her wanting to leave the show. I don't think her deal was about money. And you said earlier, Vanessa, in the question that Michonne, Daryl, and Carol renew contracts for another few years. I only remember that really being Daryl and Carol. Michonne, I don't know if it was in that same reference of Daryl and Carol did like 3-year contracts or something like that. I don't know if Michonne was in that or not. And will Andrew Lincoln come back to the show? I think Denai and Andrew Lincoln both are headed to the movies. I think they have other things going on, and we'll have other things going on that will be successful. Will Michonne ever come back to the show? You can really never say never, but will Andrew Lincoln? Same way, you can really never say never, but as far as just a prediction, I don't think they will. It's my belief that they do have some type of end game for the characters, so they don't have to come back to the show, so that their story kind of ends, really, whether it be death or just a happy type ending at a certain point. I think they'll try to let their characters play out to a certain point, and then it's kind of over. Preston Dabbs, how did everyone get infected in the first place? Space spores, Robert Kirkman said. And also, if you guys haven't seen Z Nation, give it a try. I think it's on Netflix. Z Nation, it's okay. To me, a little more on the comedic side. I don't know if that's the right word to say it. The one thing about Z Nation, I will say real quick, and thank goodness Walking Dead hasn't went there, but they have slow-moving zombies in The Walking Dead. Z Nation, that baby, I think it was the first season, like first few episodes, or first episode maybe even, the baby zombie little thing, just, I don't know. Richie Rich, any guesses on who dies in the season finale? Gabriel, I've always thought Gabriel would kind of not make it out of this season. Jerry, I hope he does, because he's got those kids and everything. It's like too many people are being taken away from their kids, the parents and such. So I'm saying Magna has a good chance. Kelly has a good chance of not making it out. Luke has a good chance of not making it out, and his girlfriend. Some other B-type characters possibly may not make it out, but Gabriel, I think, the one of the main ones, Gabriel. That's just because of the comics, I don't know. That's a hard one to say, and I'll be surprised. Hopefully, it'll be surprising if it's somebody that I don't think it would have been. Lauren Cromack, if you were to be in the zombie apocalypse, which sort of survivor would you be, and what job would you have? Leader, hunter, doctor, etc. So I kind of see myself as a leader type in real life, like I used to work construction. I worked my way up to foreman, and productions. A lot of times I'm director, producer, things like that. But I'm not a leader per se as like a president or anything like that. I don't want that responsibility. I never wanted that. That's probably why I've never been a leader like that. I don't like that type of responsibility. As far as a hunter, yeah, I grew up on a farm. I know about hunting. I don't actively hunt, but I can damn sure do it. Survive out in the wild and shit. Yeah, I could do that. And as far as doctor, etc. But doctor, I think every single person in an apocalypse should be a doctor. Not a full-fledged doctor, but really damn good, even a notch above basic survival skills. Like if you have a group, a community, especially at the level of Alexandria, that's classes every day, man. That's like learn to be a damn doctor. We don't need just this one guy over there. If he gets killed, everybody's fucked. No, everybody learns how to be a doctor. And that kind of goes with hunter. Not as much leader, but definitely a lot of the other jobs. I think people need to start wearing a lot of different hats. Oak of Liberty, what possible reason would you have to delay the season finale? You wrapped up filming last fall. He went on to say he can't believe that they're not done with the episode yet. But I went over that in a video that I just done, probably right before this one or the one before, about the green screen weapons and the fake blood splattering when something hits or stabs, things like that. There's a lot of post-production things that happen, and yes, I totally believe that they maybe hadn't done all of that yet and got it finished yet. Yeah, that's just the way production works. That's the way budgets go and things like that and how it plays out. And we're hit with a global pandemic, so yeah, I totally believe that. Universal, how long do you think the series will go for? I predicted 12 to 14 way back. It looks like it may play out that way, but Scott Gimple says it's going to be going on for a long time. So, what's your guess? What do you think, Universal? And Rock Won't Die 1 2 3 4 5 for the algorithms. Always a thank you there. Eric Marker, big question. Does Judith know about her real parents, Shane and Lori? If she does, who told her? But if not, then will she ever find out? So my answer there is I don't think Judith knows that Rick maybe is not her real dad, and she may know about Lori. She may know Michonne is her stepmom. Rick or someone may have told her about Lori, but I don't know about Shane. I would say no, she doesn't know about Shane. And about will she ever find out? Yeah, there is a possibility there, but there's not really any good reason anyway, I don't think, to ever tell her. Anybody other than Rick is her dad, and Carl is her brother, and Lori is her mom. To me, I think you could leave Shane out of it, and that may be cruel. You guys may say that's cruel for me to say that, but so Vanessa, another question. Now that a lot of our favorite characters are gone from the show, which new characters from the comics are you most excited to see come to the show? Well, we're in the last story arc, the Commonwealth, so definitely Princes and Mercer are two, as far as, I guess you could say good guys, and definitely Pamela and that family, and a lot of people in the Commonwealth, actually. It'll be interesting to see how they portray to screen, especially Pamela and Sebastian. But mainly those four, I guess, from the comics coming up in the show, hopefully. We've already seen Princess, and Stephanie. Stephanie will be interesting as well. Rock Won't Die 1 2 3 4 5. Will Gab get his comic death? If not next episode, maybe early next season? Or will they remake something because he's got a lot more screen time this season? And I think it has to be for a reason, or maybe to lead a group later on. I do predict Gab will not get his comic death, necessarily, because we're kind of past that point already by the time I've made this. But will he make it out of the season? I've always predicted he won't, so I'm going to stick with that, but I'm not sure. They don't have a lot of characters left, but I think some do have to die. Some do have to go. Will it be Rosita? That's a possibility. I hate it for Coco, the baby. Surely both of those won't die. So Gabriel, I guess. But I don't know if it'll be his comic type death, at this point. Okay, Kizu, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but what do you think will happen to Rick in the movies? I do think he will be a prisoner. I'm going to talk about that in a Michonne video that I'm working on right now. It goes into the migrants that she left with out of that last episode. It goes into some theories and thoughts and everything about Michonne and her leaving and her exit and going into possible spinoff or special or a 1 hour or something or a movie before she gets into the Rick movies. And so what will happen to Rick? I think the first movie will be focused on him. He's going to be a prisoner. Why hasn't he tried to make it back to Michonne and Judith and the communities? Because he's a prisoner, and it'll go over that a little bit more in the Michonne video. But so what do you think will happen to Rick in the movies? First movie is a prisoner. By the time it gets to the second movie, I don't know if the revolt or something will be in the first movie or the second movie, but I'm going to look at it like... think about like how Star Wars, the 3 movies, the rise and fall of, the climax, and how the second movie, the bad guy won, even though, the good guy kind of wins in the first movie. I think that'll happen in the Walking Dead movie, the first one. But then the second movie, I think if they're planning 3 movies, I think it'll be that story arc, kind of like a Star Wars saga. It'll be the Walking Dead saga, and it'll play out like that. The second movie will be darker. And then the third movie, they'll rally. And at that point, maybe Daryl, Carol, Negan, some others, Judith, have joined them all. And Rick has been reunited with Judith, and RJ meets RJ. And a lot of stuff like that happens by the third movie. Nick the Greek, why we can't see the 16 they didn't make it? Question mark, question mark. They did make it, but like I said before in the video, it's a post-production visual effects. They just need to finish some of that, and so they postponed it. Owlclaw, hey man, big fan of your channel. I always like how detailed your videos are. 3 questions. Do you have an idea on what happened to United States President in The Walking Dead? He probably went in a bunker, but I would say he probably didn't make it at some point. 2, do you think in Fear the Walking Dead that not everybody in the beginning who died and the brain wasn't destroyed came back? Because I think as time went on, it got to the point everybody came back, and if they died and the brain wasn't destroyed, came back. Yeah, it could have been a gradual, like if Robert Kirkman's what he said is true, the space boar thing did it. It could be where some people were infected before other people. If that's what you mean. So I do think it could have been a gradual thing like that. That is a possibility. As far as Fear the Walking Dead and even Walking Dead in some cases, though, almost made you believe that it happened pretty much like in a day. Like everything just kind of switched. Suddenly all the people were infected pretty much around the globe, and it kind of all the shit went down and crashed to communication and society and all that stuff fairly quickly. 3, if you could have one thing that Robert Kirkman has been asked about The Walking Dead but never gave an answer to be answered, what would it be? He recently said space boars. He could be joking, I don't know, but that would have been the question I would have asked him, and I can't really think of another question I would ask him other than how did the virus start. I could ask him little detailed questions like, is the president dead? What happened to the military? Is the Navy still around? Things like that. And he could easily just go, yeah, no, maybe, but the questions like that, I guess. Johnny is Fishy 7 says, I really want Connie to come back. And I do too. I actually like that character. I like the actress. She's really amazing, I think, as an actress, and just overall seeming like a really great person. And I want her back on the show. I hope they definitely do not kill her off. But she's another one that has such an amazing abilities and opportunities and doors opening up that could the show hold her back? You know, I don't want that for the actress, but I definitely enjoy her on the show. Bez Memow. With the CRM info we got, overall military info we got from Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, as well as Dr. Jenner and other doctors in the series, is there a slight chance the CRM is trying to find a cure for the virus? After all, from World Beyond, we know that a government may exist, and if there is one, there's a high chance they will do everything they can to make everyone immune, since if they're not, controlling random deaths popping up in communities would be way too difficult to form an organized society on a scale of a nation. And what is your opinion on what could have happened in Europe? Your own alternate story could be interesting. I don't really have an alternate story, I guess. There was it's a one-off comic called The Alien, and it's about Rick Grimes' brother. And, the comic is supposed to be one kind of universe and the show another. They're not really supposed to be the same thing, based on the same thing, but, not the same thing. So, Rick Grimes had a brother in the comic. They did one comic called The Alien. He was in Europe, and pretty much the same thing was happening over there. So that's kind of what I have in my mind, that it's global. It all happened pretty quick. And as far as is CRM trying to find a cure for the virus, maybe. And I think they may already have a suppressant, maybe, if you know what I'm saying, as far as, okay, I just got bit and I'm going to die and turn. So they give me an injection of something that just suppresses it. Doesn't cure me. It just suppresses where the fever goes down and the bite can heal, but I don't turn. I don't die from the fever. But as with everybody, if you die, you reanimate. So that doesn't change in you. They didn't cure you, or they can't cure someone, but they can stop you from turning. I think they might have found a way to stop the fever, stop the turn, and cure a bite. That might be possible with what they're doing. But that was the last question. But since there wasn't just a ton of questions, I didn't pick and choose. I went through all the questions up to this point. So I thank you guys for asking the questions. And if there's a whole bunch of questions, I'll just have to pick and choose, because it'll just get way too long for me. The way I answer questions, I start rambling. Hey, I hope I satisfied some of you guys' questions with the answers that I gave. We can continue that in the discussion below. Everybody stay home, stay safe, and just know we're all in this together. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for participating. Thanks for supporting the channel. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. And stay tuned for more dead stuff.